Candace Owens is not pivoting from Fort Huachuca. And there's a lot going on there. We're also going to dive into Maduro's capture. He is now going to be facing trial. He's coming to the United States. Also, Vivek Ramaswamy is left social media, which is pretty interesting. It sounds like he got bullied out of social media, and Nick Fuentes is taking credit for it. There's a lot of things we're going to dive into. We're primarily going to focus on Candace Owens not pivoting from Fort Huachuca, which is, I thought she would go move on to something else, but she is doubling down on that story and trying to get everything out of it as possible. There might be, if there's something there, there's something there. I don't know. But if she really zeroes in and dials down on that specific aspect of it, I don't think she's going to find anything. And I think nothing major. But I mean, if you search in daily life, you're going to find something anywhere. You could find anything underneath any rock, if you really dig. There's felonies. I mean, I heard that we commit felonies every day. That if we were actually, every person commits like a felony every day. If we really were strict by the books of being enforced of law enforcement over our lives of everything. So you can always find something, but it comes down to, with Candace Owens, what is your proposition? What is your allegation? What is your scenario? What is actually happening? What do you actually believe happened? Not just trying to sniff something out that you don't even know what you're sniffing out. That's my biggest thing. But we're going to dive into all this today. Had a lot of things pulled up. I did not actually get it ready to go. I had everything fixed and ready to roll, but I did not actually link it. And I don't know if you can do it in midstream. Either way, I have this stuff pulled up in front of me. I'm sorry for the visuals for everyone else out there, but I wanted to go through this. First, I wanted to dial in on Maduro being captured and brought to the U.S., which is pretty interesting. It's not about drug trafficking. These are the fronts that the U.S. is just positing and just putting out in front of everybody and saying that is what the reason we went and got this guy. There are bigger things underneath the surface, and I think anybody that's not stupid understands that we're not just going in there to save some, so cocaine or something or fentanyl doesn't get brought to the U.S., or that is the front, and that is the party line, but we know that there's more behind it. It's taking care of our hemisphere, taking care of our backyard. And I know that a neocon is a bad word, and people say neocon, they don't even know what neocon means. It's just like if you're a war hawk. I'm not about war, but I am about the U.S. using its strong arm and enforcing it and just showing our power and just in dominating this planet, not like we don't need to take everything. We need to take everything little by little. But especially our backyard, Venezuela, come in but don't just suck up this oil so the wealthy get wealthier. But I say let it filter down to the American people. And that's what we need to show our dominance in this planet. We've been the big kid too much in this world, just for no reason, just trying to stop everyone else from fighting and just being kind of just passive aggressive, just being little passive little Nancy boys over here when we're really the big kid and strong arm in the room. So we need to actually get some benefit from that. And I actually like that about Donald Trump, because he was before he even became president the first time, he was very outspoken about the Iraq wars and not going into there. He didn't think it was a good thing. But if we're there to get the oil, get the treasure, not just spend our blood and treasure for nothing. And I think we need to Venezuela, they are sitting on a whole lot of oil, a whole lot of minerals, and a thing that the U.S. can get from. That that can be a place that we get riches from. This whole idea about, it used to be about you conquer and you take over lands. You take over the strongest countries. They expand their empire. They grow. Alexander the Great, he didn't just sit back. He wanted to take over. He wanted to have power. But it brought a better life for everyone else. Ultimately, it spread like a community, and people could actually know that they're a part of something. There's peace, but it's peace through strength. When people have commonality and they understand that the strong arm, the power person in this world is the United States, And they are able to unleash hell at times, and we saw that with Maduro. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it is a good thing. I don't think we should be involved in every war, but we should be expanding. We should be expanding our at least when we go, we're protecting all these lands and keeping them safe. We should be reaping the benefits from it. I wanted to skip also forward to Vivek Ramaswamy. That Nick Fuentes, he posted over the Wall Street Journal because Vivek, he left social media. He's left Twitter for. He says, "I'm swearing off Instagram and X, where it's too easy to get a distorted sense of the public's concern." And Nicholas J. Fuentes tweeted over that, "We bullied Vivek off Twitter." And this is, I think it's interesting about like what Nick is saying and what he is doing, and he's showing his dominance in a sense of bullying people because he's saying he's not going to allow Vivek to be doesn't want him to be governor of Ohio, and he's going to do everything in his power to keep him from that. I'm okay with you doing that, but when he goes so far as saying "go home" to Vivek, who is an American citizen. He stands for American values. He might look different. He might have a different color skin, but I mean, just to be that and say "go home," that's where it's like it might sound corny, but where's the love, man? Where's the Christian love when you actually talk to someone like that and you treat someone like that? And I know that sounds, because people don't want to hear that, but there is a sense that you can lose your soul over just trying to be just a power, like a person of pushing someone else out and just making them look stupid like that. Like just because someone like it looks different, because they don't agree with you, you can maybe stand on policy, stand on why you don't want him. He would be a bad candidate, a bad person for that. But I just, the video that just turned me off from that was like when he was saying like, go home. And like, I agree we should be deporting people that aren't American citizens. But if you're American citizens, if your allegiance is to America, and I don't think he has an allegiance somewhere else. People always question the Israel thing with certain people that are Jewish and all that. Do they have undivided allegiance to America, or are they in both camps? I get that at times. I get that at times. We should have people that care so much about America. America is what matters. If you're American citizens, that should be your bread and butter. That should be what you care about the most. And that's just that really. I like Nick Fuentes, what he does in a lot of things, but when he was saying about Vivek and saying "go home, get out of here," that I think it crossed the line right there. Maybe don't become governor, but man. And then with Candace Owens, what she has doubled down on this whole Fort Huachuca scenario and something happening there. I think that it looks kind of odd that she is doubling down there. I don't know if she's not found any more leads of something. But the whole Mitch Snow aspect of it, he got completely discredited. And I know he could be telling the truth about something like he was there because he probably was there. But based on your life and how you've lived, and if you're telling the truth at times, gives you more credit. And I think that people expose Mitch Snow in a lot of ways that he might not be the most trustworthy person, and her to double down on this. The biggest thing is she's not saying anything. She's not saying anything specific. And she started off her new show yesterday for this new year. And I watched pretty much the whole thing. I didn't listen to the very end where she's reading people's emails and all that. But it's what she kind of zeroed in on. It didn't pull anything new out. And she always leaves you on a cliffhanger that she's going to. But she did not back off of this Fort Huachuca, and I think she's putting herself in a corner. But then it's like, I think she's going to just go to something else. She's going to try to get everything out of this, but I don't think anything's there. Just because high up people went to this fort, which people go to forts every day in the United States. People go to different parts of the, that are in the military or even government officials. They go and then meet at different places. And it's just, you're just making things, insinuating that they're doing something nefarious by going to them, and then saying, well, where were they? If they weren't trying to get an alibi out of them, but then they show that they were somewhere else, and then you're like, well, man, that was desperate. Why did you just reveal that? You really didn't have to go that far. It's like it's from both sides. I have mixed feelings and ideas and thoughts about Candace because There's some things that I absolutely love. When I sit back and I think about this, she's bringing attention to these things where she's really digging in. And at times it almost turns me off because I'm like, it's like Charlie Kirk, he just died. But it's like, if we really want to get to what happened, we don't want to become 50 years later, like after JFK, and try to find answers. It is probably good to try to get answers immediately, but it's the way she's going about it is just asking about everything, accusing everybody, and not having a real overall just idea of what your thought is of what actually happened. She's not really positing that. She's just giving possibilities of could this be it? And this is what's making me sick in my stomach, is because I love conspiracies. Because I don't think everything is what we're being fed every day. I don't think what the government has told us and what we've been grown up on, what we've thought our whole lives, what we've just been shoved down our mouth and we're just assumed to believe is the actual truth. I think that there is things that are hidden from our eyes, that there is something deeper going on. But it's like, I like, even like with Ian Carroll, like I think he's losing me at times, because he's like, what you're saying is, it's not really being backed up. And just jumping to a conclusion immediately. Because it was like right after Charlie Kirk died, it was like he was immediately pinning it on Israel, because that's where it always goes. It always goes to Israel. But Candace Owens, she's like, just has a shotgun with a blindfold on, and she's just shooting everywhere, and she's scattering, just in shrapnel everywhere, and people are being just caught in the crossfire. Drive-bys happening, and she's not stopping. And it's like, what is your point? What do you actually think happened? And I know that this seems like it's just pointing out the obvious and people are getting just used to it, but I think she is an amazing speaker. She's an amazing talker. She's able to communicate well, but we need somebody that behind her, giving her more of an idea of something. What actually, where are we going with this? Is something actually there? Because she could be the speaker, the spokesman, but we need somebody with a little bit more thoughtful analysis of what's going on and ideas moving forward, not just accuse everyone and get nowhere. And I think that's what she's been doing for months, and she's doubling down on this Fort Huachuca. And I think she's reluctantly doubling down on this. I don't think she necessarily wants to double down on this, but she's doing it because she's been put in a corner and people are calling her out on it and saying, are you really going to settle in on this? You digging your heels on this? Because everything she says, it seems like she's saying that Erica Kirk was there. She like made it seem like that, but then she's like backed off completely. Like, no, I'm not saying that at all, because she wasn't there. She had an alibi, or other people like, and then you're trying to expose like, well, if they're at a fort, they're at a government place, they're probably there for government reasons that might not be they can't like just reveal everything. And then it's like, when they can't reveal everything, it makes them look like they're hiding something. And that's like what it is constantly, over and over and repeated. Like I said, I have mixed things about her. I think just that she's given us this whole ride, and it's a ride now. And now I'm like, when I'm listening to her, I'm like, why am I listening to her? Why am I like, I feel like I'm just like absorbed into listening to her at times, because she's just, it's become about her though. It's become about what do you think, Candace? But she's not giving any explanation or any actual, a summation of what went down. I want to know, what do you actually think? And she's saying it's just in this investigative, maybe she's going to land on something. Maybe she is. And maybe that's her whole overall schema that she's putting us through, that like, spill it, say what you think. What do you actually think happened? Because right now, what the facts and what the little evidences that we have, there's really nothing there. It's just speculation. That's all it is. And it's just insinuating everybody is under this dark scheme. The people, there are nefarious, evil actors out there, but it's like, it's made us think that like Erica Kirk, she's done something evil, when I strongly, severely doubt she has done anything evil, and she at all a part of this at all. I don't, but it's made us think, and people are just posting everything about her of like she's, an operative of some I mean, it would be very involved that like say Israel just put her up to and just arranged this marriage with her and Charlie Kirk, and they had this whole thing, and she's behind the scenes doing all this, and that she's standing on Christian values and speaking for Christianity and being a voice for that. I know she's not like perfect, but it's like, man, that I don't know if I can go that far. I don't. But you're just insinuating, and don't claim that you're not. You're making it seem like she's this evil person that's behind this. You know. I know she backs off. She jumps forward and then she backs off, and she's like, she drove hard on Erica, and then she comes back off of it, and then it's like, what do you actually think happened? I mean, I just want to hear, based on what you have investigated over these past 4 months, pretty much now. What is your idea? Not just like something smells like it's happening going on right here, but what actually do you think happened? There's more about, we can dive into this, and we will, but we'll leave it at that. Follow me on X and Instagram at Brandon Fogel, and have a great day.